I was born on the 20th of December, 1995, in Alberta, Canada, more specifically in the city of Edmonton. At that time, I was the only child in the family. After me came my sister, who is 6 years younger than I am, and the youngest, who is 9 years younger. My mom and dad had both migrated from West Africa, Nigeria. They spoke both Yoruba and English with us. My parents didn't have much money, but we were getting by just fine. When I was about 3, we moved to Nashville, Tennessee, in the United States. My earliest memory, and all I can truly remember, is that my mom was working as a caregiver at an adult facility near our home, while my sister and I attended preschool. When I was 4, my dad got a job as a welder at Bunyan Security Door of Manitoba in Winnipeg, which was back in Canada. So we relocated to Canada again. We got a house there, and that was when I started going to kindergarten. This is where my real story truly begins. I became friends with a girl in class whom I considered the prettiest girl there. She also didn't like to talk at all. Everyone thought something was wrong with her, but one day, after we had been cautioned by our teacher for painting on the wall, she came to me and told me it was fine. Then we just started talking out of nowhere. We played together in the sandbox, and after that, we became best friends right from the start. I wasn't extremely creative throughout kindergarten and grade 1. I performed poorly in many subjects, especially math and arithmetic. But the strangest part of all was that I excelled greatly in fine art. I would create dozens of paintings and watercolor stories, though my teachers were not really impressed by them. My whole life, up until very recently, has been me trying to fit in. I have always had an obsession with being cool and belonging, and I would do things that were not truly me. Because of that, I became a pretty troublesome kid. I was constantly getting into trouble. When I was about 10 years old, I lost pretty much all my friends from elementary school. There was no specific reason. They ended up becoming the popular kids, and I still have my best friend. We met a couple of other kids who were a lot like us, and we all stayed close throughout the next few years. I was really quiet and kept to myself, and so did my friends. When we hung out, we would laugh, scream, and make really weird noises, but when we were in public, we were almost the exact opposite. We were never really bullied or anything. We just stayed away from any kind of drama or attention. Then high school came. My mom insisted that I attend a private school, which was really far from the public school all my friends were going to. It really sucked at first, but it forced me to step out of my comfort zone and meet new people. I didn't have anyone. It was one of the first times in my life that I truly felt on my own. I had this idea that since nobody knew who I was, I could be whoever I wanted to be. It sounds like a bad thing when I say I wasn't truly myself, but really I wasn't. I didn't have to be that quiet, introverted guy who always kept his head down anymore. I could finally build the confidence to actually go out and meet people. I know it's easier said than done. Stepping out of your comfort zone is one of the hardest things to do, but all you have to do is take that first big step. You need to forget about everything else in the world, in the entire universe. Just clear out every negative thought and focus all of your energy on that one thing, whether it is meeting someone or asking someone out. Whatever it is, you just have to take that first leap of faith, and the rest takes care of itself. On July 23, 2010, I built my first blog. I had read many books about blogging and watched YouTube videos for hours every single day. One day, I decided I wanted to be a blogger too. So I built my first blog on bloggers.com, took a loan from my mom to buy my slow, crummy laptop, and wrote my first blog article. After the first week, it got about 20 views, but that didn't stop me. Over time, I started seeing the same people comment on my posts every time I made a new one, which meant I had followers. That was enough to make me post an article every single day for over a year. This is how I met my friend Jordan. Around that time, I also met one of my best friends named Donovan. Little side note, this was also the same time I met Aaron and Abiyomi. Pretty soon, we were talking every day about building our own tech empire together. After about a year, it felt like I had poured my heart and soul into my blog, and it was simply going nowhere. I didn't know what to do, so I gradually lost interest and stopped. This was also around the time my dad lost his job. My mom had started her food business across town, and my dad began doing welding jobs in the garage of our house. Within a year, the next thing I knew, it was a whole new family, and everything had changed. At first, it was hard. Suddenly, nothing really felt like home anymore. Don't get me wrong, I love my family so much. It was just a lot to adjust to. Constantly moving, unstable financial support, my mom and dad fighting every day, and most especially depending more on my mom because my dad hardly got new gigs. This situation didn't really help. Since the dream of being a blogger was over, I focused my attention on making web development and web designs. I also took some programming classes in high school, and to my greatest surprise, I was the best in class. I was still very creative with my drawings, and around this time, I had also become really good at Adobe Photoshop. So the combination of all these things made becoming a software developer seem very promising. After high school, I started living with my principal and her husband, who were also Nigerians. They were friends of a friend of my mom and fellow church members whom my mom held in high esteem for being good Christian parents. They had 3 children, but 2 of their eldest, whom I had never met, had actually been sent back to Nigeria to complete their education with their grandparents. We lived together with their youngest son, Opayemi, who was a year older than me and whom they were also planning to send to Nigeria for his university education. Her husband was an ex-military soldier, very strict, conservative, and religious. All of this made it difficult for me to get along well with them. We went to church twice a week and never missed a Sunday service. They were a very nice couple, but I didn't really get along with them, especially since Opayemi would be leaving for Nigeria in a few months. So I had a lot of trouble living with them. I was sent back home twice because I had issues with them every now and then, but my mom would not hear of it and would send me back immediately. Opayemi finally left for Nigeria barely a year after I started living with them. I applied to some universities, and the next thing I knew, I was one summer away from moving to British Columbia for school. Like most people, I was extremely nervous. I was 19 years old. I prepared myself by joining some of the university Facebook groups and try to get an idea of some of the people I would probably meet. While browsing, I found one girl who especially stood out. She was gorgeous. She was also living off campus like me, and the next thing I knew, I moved to BC, met her at a party, and pretty soon we started dating. She was my first serious relationship, and I learned so much through the time I spent with her. She helped me realize that I should do what I truly loved and not work toward whatever career would make me more money or what was more accepted by society. I was starting to lose a lot of interest in what I was studying, and with distractions like video games and my girlfriend, by the end of my first year of university, I failed all of my courses. I wasn't readmitted to the school. If you finished the year with less than a 50% grade average, you were automatically removed. My average was 44%. At that point, I had no idea what to do with myself. I was no longer interested in my degree. I had fallen far behind in school, and on top of that, my girlfriend and I were both returning to our homes in different parts of the country, which meant we would be apart for the next 4 months. We were still deeply in love and believed we could make it through. We said goodbye, and I flew back to Winnipeg. I dropped out of school, but I still pretended that I was enrolled because I was too afraid to go back home and admit the truth. Instead, I got a job at a bar. About a week later, I received a call from my girlfriend telling me she wanted to break up. It hit me hard, affected my performance at work, and I was fired from the bar only 5 months after starting. After spending 6 months unemployed, I got another job at a supermarket. I stayed there for 2 years, but inside I felt exhausted by the direction my life had taken. I kept thinking about what might have happened if I had told everyone the truth. I kept wondering how different things could have been if I had first been honest with myself. Maybe I would have been in a better place. Eventually, I left the job to start learning programming through tutorials, something I was truly passionate about, which I later abandoned. I finally decided it was time to go back home. When I arrived, I lied again and claimed that I had graduated. My dad was suspicious, asked a few questions, but said nothing. Desperate to prove him wrong and show that I could succeed, I got involved with this group that teaches Bitcoin hacking, where we hack into a company's wallet and pull out some money. At first, I made some quick cash out, and those early wins gave me false confidence. $500 followed by another successful $800 cash out, and then my biggest payout of $1,500, also the $500 that dropped a few hours after my third cash out, which was my biggest pay. Then I decided to go for a bigger payout, bigger money, around $8,000 if the transaction was successful, but instead the check bounced, and that day, my entire life changed. I didn't know it at the time. In fact, I didn't realize the significance of that day until about 6 months later. On August 2nd, 2022, I started working again, this time at a bakery. I stayed there for 10 months before moving to another bakery, where I spent another full year working. After that, I left. I decided to restart my programming journey again, hoping to build a real career for myself, though I still struggled to stay consistent and eventually stepped away from it again. This time, I turned my attention to YouTube and created my first channel on June 7th, 2024. As usual, I could not make it work, so I abandoned it too. Not long after, I sold my laptop and started a new job as a farm attendant. I stayed there for 9 months before moving on to work as a parker at a beer depot in St. John, where I spent another 10 months. After that, I moved again to where I'm currently working as a security officer at a construction company. In October 2026, I created my second YouTube channel. At first, I abandoned this one too. But today, I am picking it up again and continuing from where I stopped, hoping to rebuild my life one step at a time. Today, I am returning to YouTube not just to upload videos, but to tell the truth about my journey. I am 30 years old now, and I carry deep regret over how I lost myself, wasted valuable years, dropped out after being given opportunities many people only dream of, and made decisions that pushed me backward instead of forward. Time moved on, and now I live with the pain of wondering where I could have been if I had chosen differently. At 30, I still live with my parents. I have no relationship, no close friends outside the people I see at work, no money saved, and no clear career path. I'm not saying this for pity. I am saying it because somebody younger watching this may still have time to change direction before regret becomes heavy. Do not ignore your gifts. Do not keep delaying your future. Do not trade long-term progress for short-term comfort. Time moves quietly, but it moves fast. I have promised myself that I will not give up on this YouTube channel again. If there's one thing I choose to do right, it will be this. I will learn from every mistake I made, keep building, keep showing up, and use my story to inspire someone else to wake up, think deeply, and fight for a better life before it is too late.